2011 Rocky Mountain Slayer. This is a quick overview of this bike. Now that I have it up for sale, let's talk about this thing, have a look. I'm going to guess that the buyer who's looking for this bike is probably their first longer suspension travel bike, maybe your first bike. So let's go over some of the things on this. 160 mil of travel in the front, 165 millimeter in the rear, 26-inch wheels. You say to yourself, Alex, 26-inch wheels and a 2x9 drivetrain, it's ancient. How can I even ride a bicycle? I answer to you that I ride this bike a lot. And I've ridden with all the newer bikes and been able to keep up just fine. She's got almost new tires on it. This is a Maxxis Minion on the front. 2.5 double compound, arguably the finest downhill tire you can have. A almost brand new Kenda Nevigal on the back, a little faster rolling. I have a ton of tires for this thing. If you want to ride big mountain stuff, I got some heavy duty tires. You want to do trail riding, I got some fast tires. What do you want to know about this bike? Well, it's technically a 19.5-inch frame, 19 frame, which is a large, but you could consider this a medium. The reach on it, it's not super long. Part of it was when Rocky made this bike, they put the seat used to be super reclined, and they put the seat up much further so that you'd have this long travel bike, but it's more efficient in pedaling. But it means the reach, it's not super wide. So you could be 5'7" to 6 foot, ride this bike fine. I'm 6 foot, I rode this thing for 6 years. No problems, bought it brand new. What do we got for components on here? We got some nice cranks. XT is the good stuff. Real stiff. That chain is almost brand new. It's a KMC full pin chain, so it's really strong. This sprocket has maybe 10 rides on it. This is the biggest one I could fit on here, so you have the lowest possible ratio. That derailleur's a year old. These wheels have never been bent. These brakes, arguably the best trail brakes you could have. These are 2015 Shimano XTs. Huge power, metallic finned pads, the best. We got this lovely Renthal fat bar on the front, 740 millimeters, nice and wide. Pretty good saddle. This saddle's off another bike actually. Has barely any rides on it. It's like brand new. Last year I completely rebuilt this bike. It's got new wheel bearings, new cables, and I took the entire frame apart, replaced all these bearings and bushings in the mounts here, all from Rocky Mountain. It was not cheap, or it took a lot of time, but the other ones actually weren't worn that bad. So that's all been done. I rebuilt the shock last year. It's all brand new seals on the Fox. Right rear shock. The Marzocchi, a good fork, completely rebuilt. New seals, new oil wipers, and I just upgraded it to a heavier Motul 10-weight oil, which makes the fork dive less. Better performance on the big mountain. What doesn't work? This pro pedal here doesn't work anymore. The lockout on this doesn't work anymore. But the travel adjust air progression works, which is like you can change the air volume so that when you get through the travel, it gets stiffer. Newer forks use tokens for that effect. Marzocchi's built in. It works well. The brakes work well. The gear range works well. There's no squeaks through this thing anymore, which is why I did all the bearings and bushings. It's an excellent bike. You can trail ride this bike happily. Zip it along. You can ride big trails on this mama. She's done it all. I've done everything. There are lots of scrapes and scratches on this bike because I've ridden it a fair bit over the years. Scrapes down the frame, wear marks there, wear marks down here. This is in pretty good shape. I've had this thing on it since new. The rims are good. There's a small mark on the stanchion here, but it's tiny and it hasn't leaked any oil out of there, so it's pretty good. But you can see there's lots of cable rub marks. On the front, there's another cable rub mark. This one I had in the car and drove it down to the US. But nothing has pierced or even come close to getting through the aluminum. It's still in quite good shape. Basically, I've really loved this bike and put a lot of work into keeping it tip-top to keep up with all the guys on the high-dollar bikes. But you can have this for a very reasonable price. An excellent machine, really cool for the time. Still a solid, comparable bike you can do everything on. I've really enjoyed it, loved this bike, and I am certainly sad to see it go. Hope you found this description useful. Why don't you come down, have a look, maybe buy it. Or to all you out there who also have this Generation Rocky Slayer, what do you think? Leave me an answer in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. I have to say that because YouTube has changed everything and they really need that. If you found any of this useful, please do. See you in the next one.